The Arex Delta, let's check it out. Arex Defense is based out of Slovenia. It's been in business for over 25 years, and they do produce military and police firearms and also for their civilian market. One thing about Arex Defense is 50% of their production is for other defense companies. And so this company has been around for a while, and with the Rex Zero, which is their double single action pistol, which is based really heavily on the SIG 226, which is a legendary design. It's a really quality firearm. Now they've gone into the striker fire market. Now guys, there is a ton of striker fire polymer frame pistols out there, but the Arex Delta has definitely set itself apart in some areas, and we're going to take a look at that. One of the big things, they came out with the compact size when they started out. And while this is compact, it's actually thinner than most of your compacts out on the market. So it puts it in between that subcompact and compact size, mainly because of the width. It's a really thin handgun. So we're going to take a look at some of the features and some of the unique things about the Delta, and we're just going to take it out and see how it performs. And I want to thank the guys over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Arex Delta for this test and evaluation. Now the Delta X is a polymer frame striker fire pistol, but there are a ton of them on the market. So one of the first things I want to talk about is just some of the unique features that this has, and it does. I mean, this is definitely a different look to it, a different design. It has more angular type features in the grip. But first thing let's do is go ahead and remove our magazine, and let's check the chamber, and it's empty. Now we do have a 15 round magazine that's flush fit, but we also have a 17 round magazine that comes with the pistol as well. A little bit of an extended base plate, and as you can see, it does naturally fit to the handgun, and it gives you a little bit more gripping surface. You know, if you have really large hands, this is a compact version, and so the grip is full in the hand, but it definitely is kind of small for guys that, you know, may have larger hands, even though this base plate should be able to fill that hand. You do have ambidextrous magazine releases, and so really easy to get a hold of. I really like ambidextrous because I can pop it out on either side. And one of the things about this particular mag release is it's really close to the frame. So this isn't going to inadvertently get hit and drop your magazine, which can be a problem with ambidextrous mag releases. You also have ambidextrous slide stops. Very minimal. And I really like the design. It's got a little bit of a shelf to it, so it gives you a little bit of meat to be able to get a hold of and to drop that slide. But one of the things though also is because it is minimal, you're not going to inadvertently, again, hit it when you're getting a real high ride grip. And you'll notice how low the bore axis is. I mean, it is really down there. And so that's one of the reasons why this handgun shoots very flat. I also like the texturing. You do have your laser engraving texturing here, and I like the finger pad. I like to be able to just keep my finger right there, and it just gives me a reminder to put my finger there. But the grip itself has these textured little squares, and it really makes this fit in your hand very well. Now there are also 3 additional back straps, so there's a number of different choices, and so you can, you know, fit this to however you want to. But it is kind of a angular kind of shape to it. But I found that it was very comfortable in my hand. And so again, we shot about 500 rounds, and when I say we, I mean me. This really just held up very well at the range. But really, one of the big things that I want to get to right up front, beside all the ambidextrous controls, is how thin it is. I mean, it is honestly one of the thinnest 15 round 9mm pistols out there. There's some that are kind of a in-between between subcompact and compact, and this is really, to me, getting to that area. But yet, it still feels like a full-size pistol. When you grip the pistol, I mean, it is noticeably thinner. But the first pistol that came to mind when I got the Delta is the Ruger Security 9. And if you've ever held one, they are very thin. I mean, it's just a very pointable handgun. But I think that the Arex Delta has a more aggressive grip. I mean, you feel like you've got more surface, more texturing, and I just feel like it's a better grip. With the Ruger, it's a little bit slick, honestly. Even though it has these pads here and it does have texturing on the back, it's not quite as aggressive. I feel like I've got a better hold on the firearm. And guys, when it comes to the Glock 19, definitely a much thicker grip. And I'm going to see if we can look at it. You can tell immediately that it's a much thinner grip here. Now this is the Gen 3, so the Gen 5 is going to have a little less grip to it, but even then, it's a lot thicker. And then when you're gripping it front to back, it's definitely a lot larger. And so that's one of the things about the Delta, is that it's just a very thin handgun, and it's going to be a little bit more easier to conceal. And the Glock is known for a low bore axis, and as you can see, actually the sights are a little bit lower on the Delta. Now guys, I'm not bashing the Glock 19. It is one of my favorite pistols of all time. But I really like a lot of the advantages of the Delta. Now here we have the Rec Zero, and this is their double single action pistol. It is based heavily, again, on the SIG P226. This is a very smooth, really high quality firearm. And the double single action pistols, you know, hammer fired, I mean, it's a complete departure with the Delta. And so this gives them more of that market. Now there's still a lot of people that love that double single action, and they like the hammer fired. There's some safety features here that aren't present necessarily on the Arex Delta. But the one thing about the Delta is it does have the trigger shoe right here, but no external safety. And honestly, this is my preferred carry. But there are a lot of guys that do prefer a double single action. Now the Delta does come with an option to have the external frame safety. It also comes in the black OD frame and then your FDE frame. So there are a lot of options. Now we have front and rear cocking serrations. They have a little bit of a bite to them. So when you're pulling it back, it gets a grip on your fingers. And yet it's not too aggressive here. And of course that's the same with the front. And then you have your Picatinny rail. It is one slot. And then we have this texturing along the trigger guard. Now I brought out the CZ P10C. And the reason is we're going to drop the magazine. Of course we'll wait and check to make sure they're unloaded. All the guns that I'm bringing out have been safety checked. We're going to drop our magazine, and one of the things that's unique about the Delta is that it will take the CZ P10C magazines. And so I felt like that is also another advantage. And so you don't have to worry about some kind of proprietary magazine. There's a ton of CZ magazines out there. And guys, these work. Now this is a 15 round magazine, but you'll notice that it does stick out past the grip. Whereas with the standard magazine of the Delta, it fits right flush, and they're both 15 rounds. Then as far as size goes with the P10C, it's actually a little bit smaller. It's a shorter barrel length. It's 4.25 inch barrel length. Then when we come to the grip, they're pretty much dead on. But the big thing is the Delta is definitely a thinner profile. It's very thin, and again, that's one of the things you'll notice when you pick up the Delta. It is a thin handgun. Now here we have the CZ P10S. So let's put that up. This is a 12+1. You'll notice that the slide is about the same. Just a touch longer on the Delta. Then here on the grip, it's going to extend a little bit, but again, you have 12 rounds with the P10S. You have 15 rounds with the Arex Delta. Now the polymer is not quite as soft as your Glock. It is a little bit more, honestly, like the Security 9, but yet, to me, it just has a little more quality feel to it. And of course, the Security 9 is a very budget-priced firearm. Also, we have a nitro carburized slide, and so that's going to give you good wear resistance. One thing we're going to show, especially when we break it down, it does have a hand-polished feed round. And one of the things about this handgun when we took it to the range is we didn't have any kind of malfunctions. The sights are metal. They have a serrated black little ramp actually that kind of goes at an angle, and it really makes for a nice sight picture. And of course you have just a white dot at the front, and they are dovetailed in, so if you want to switch those out. And the sights are compatible with your Springfield Armory XDM sights, so there's a lot of choices out there. Now we have a loaded chamber indicator, so if you have a round in here, this will pop up just a little bit. And then we have a cock striker indicator. This does not mean that the gun is loaded. This means the gun is loaded or not loaded. This just means that it's cocked and it's ready to fire. And you'll notice that little red dot, and so when we pull the trigger, it disappears. The takedown levers are on either side, very much like your Glock. We're going to check the trigger action. You have your blade safety right here, and this keeps the firearm from inadvertently going off unless you have a full grip on the trigger. Okay, we have some take up. It's really smooth and a really nice break. It's a very crisp break. Let's try reset. Right there. It is very quick. We've got our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. Let's go ahead and check the trigger pull weight. 4 pounds, 10 ounces. 4 pounds, 8.5 ounces. The weight on the Arex Delta, 1 pound, 5.6 ounces. The weight on the Glock 19, 1 pound, 7.8 ounces. So about a 2.2 ounce difference. And we want to thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made right here in the USA. And during this shortage, we really appreciate their sponsorship more than ever. But it's good, clean, burning stuff. Also, we appreciate Lula Loaders for making this really fast and easy on our thumbs. Went down to the range and took about 500 rounds. Didn't have any malfunctions. And I really wasn't expecting it. I know with the Zero, the Rex Zero, I mean, it just is an excellent gun. So I really expected it to be good quality, which it is. We had the 15 rounds, had the 17 rounds, which is nice. Gives you a couple of extra rounds, and it doesn't add a lot to the grip. The grip itself, it's angular, but it's comfortable. And because it's so thin, you feel like you've got a good grip on it. I mean, and the texturing is nice. The reset on this trigger is just excellent. I mean, it's really fast, really easy to get rapid shots. And so that was one thing, even when you're shooting slow, if you like to use your reset, I mean, this is one that's really crisp. One of the small problems that we had though was when you fill up your magazine at first and we'd put it in the pistol. When we were bringing it over, it would kind of ride on that round and it would be a little difficult. It would go forward with no problem, but it would just be a little slow in going over. We found out that after shooting just a couple of magazines, that kind of went away. And so then it just was more and more smooth. And so I feel like that's just getting the pistol broken in. The sights with the blacked out rear, serrated sights, it's a great contrast with that front white dot. Just seem to be able to get right on target. And again, the recoil on this pistol is very flat shooting. I really like the way this handgun shoots. And with the size, I mean, guys, honestly, this is a great little concealed carry option. So if you're looking for that, full-size feel, but you want something that's thin and easier to conceal, this would be a great choice. You have 15 in one, keep a 17 in one in your pocket, and you're ready to face the day. Now for disassembly, drop your magazine. We're going to check to make sure the gun's unloaded. Pull your trigger, pull back on the slide just like you do on your Glock, pull down on your takedown tabs, and then it pulls out a little bit and up. And then we're going to take our recoil spring, and this is a metal guide rod. It is the flat recoil spring, which to me aids in recoil management. And then we have our barrel. And this again is a 4.25 inch barrel. And the barrel is cold hammer forged, which is going to give extended life. You can see the slide, obviously very similar to a lot of your striker fire pistols, but it's very well finished. I mean, inside there's no tooling marks, just looks very well done. And then here we have the frame. One thing I've noticed is it has really nice extended slide rails, and so that's going to help. A lot of these striker fire pistols have very minimal slide rails. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. To reassemble, just drop in your barrel, your recoil spring and guide rod. Now if you'll notice, there are slots here in the slide, and you're going to want to just put those over slide rails and then bring it back. I mean, it is really fast to reassemble. Comes with a really nice box, Arex on the front. Now the box is lockable, have your slots here, and then we have a quick start guide. It's got a lot of your information just right here. And then we have, of course, the handgun. We have an extra magazine. We have 3 additional back straps, and I believe the medium is on this one. So I believe there's one that's smaller and then 2 larger ones. Then we have a small little cleaning kit, and this is really cool. I mean, it's brass rods, you've got everything you need, and then you can use this as the handle because you can screw it right in here to the end. I thought that was an excellent feature. Then here in the back you have your full operator's manual, and you have a lock. Guys, as far as pros and cons, it's just a really quality made firearm. Arex has already proven itself with their Rec Zero, and so I was really glad to see a polymer frame striker fire pistol come out from those guys. Again, these are made in Slovenia. I really like the ambidextrous controls. Then we have really good slide serrations. The grip, it's very modular, and again, you have a number of different backstrap options. Very good solid feel in the hand, XDM compatible sights. The trigger is excellent, especially for a striker fire pistol. Very crisp break, and then also a very fast reset. But what I think I like the most about this handgun is how thin it is. I mean, it is a very thin, just a very grippable firearm. And with the texturing, it just makes you feel like you have this thing solid in your hand. And so I've had just a great experience with the Delta, and we'll continue to shoot this some and compare it with others. But at this point right now, this is going to be an excellent concealed carry choice, especially if you want that 15-in-1 magazine. And then, of course, you can bump it up to the 17+1. And the price is definitely a big part of the advantage. I mean, retailing at $480 on Gun Zone deals, it's going for $399. And for a good high-quality firearm, that's just a great price. So guys, if you're looking for a handgun that shoots like a full-size firearm but yet is concealable, I think the Arex Delta is a great choice. There's a lot of solid features to this firearm, but one of the main things that I really like about the Delta is just how thin it is, guys. It is going to be so much easier to conceal. And sometimes, you know, even those small dimensions add up a lot to everyday carry. And again, I want to thank Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Arex Delta for this test and evaluation. And so guys, while the gun market right now is crazy, it's great to have a source to be able to pick up firearms to bring to you guys. Guys, if you depend on a firearm for self-defense, whether concealed carry or even home defense, having some kind of legal protection is vital. I'm a member of the USCCA. I've been a member for the past 3 years, and it is just peace of mind. You know that someone has your back if you ever get yourself in a tough situation where you have to draw your firearm. If you are carrying concealed, you should definitely have some kind of legal protection. Now, I have a link down below in the description to the USCCA membership page. It is an affiliate link, and I know that if anything ever goes down, I have a friend with USCCA. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The Arex Delta, firearms in pieces, parts, and it's okay, a hand-polished feed ramp. But I'm sure that they're compatible with some brand. I don't know what this is compatible with. So, but they are hand-polished, which okay. Now they've introduced their Arex